Okay, so it's Monday, the 12th of July, and we're about to do a class with a band, TheraBand. So you'll need one of those. We're going to do quite a lot of strong leg strengthening exercises today and a little bit of shoulders, and we're going to incorporate the band into some of our Pilates exercises in the mat work. Remember, you can opt out. If you've had enough of the band halfway through, you can opt out and do the same exercises without the band for slightly less intensity, if that's right for you today. So we're going to start standing up. And if you just have your band in one hand, I'm just going to come and move my camera over here. So wherever you're standing, just stand with your feet underneath you, not too wide, and just have the band in one hand for a minute. And just stand, just have a little calm, quiet moment, just standing tall. Hold your strap in your hand. And just take a little calm breather, just trying to just refocus for a moment before we start. Try and imagine you're lengthening the crown of the head up to the ceiling. You're trying to feel a little taller through the back of the neck. Shoulders are nice and easy. Feeling your feet as your base of support underneath you. Nice and calm. And then we're just going to allow our shoulders to shrug up towards our ears. And then just let them fall and completely relax. And again, shrug them up. And then let them just gently fall and relax. One more time. You're creating a little bit of tension and kind of squeezing them up. And then just let that all go and completely relax the shoulders back. Good. Now take your arms out in front of you, just keeping your band in your hand for the moment. And do the same sort of movement forward and back. So we're going to reach our arms forward, let the shoulders slide far forward, and then just draw the shoulders slightly back. One more time. Reach the shoulders forward, and then lightly draw them back. Okay. Relax your arms. Give your shoulders a little shake. You're going to take hold of our band, and we're going to hold it with the long fingers. Just hold the thumb on. Come to standing. I'm just going to move back so you can see me. Okay, now you can stand with your feet in a shallow V, like we did last week on the towel, or just parallel them together. Okay, standing tall, and we're just going to move our arms up towards the ceiling, and then just gently press them back down. Okay, this shouldn't hurt your shoulder. If you're injured, just don't do so high, or just avoid any discomfort. We're just trying to get our shoulders moving initially, and then all the way down. Now, if you take your arms up, grow tall through your spine, we're just going to shrug our shoulders up and then let them just draw down and relax. And again, shrug them up and then just down and relax. Now, pull a little bit on your band, and we're going to bend our elbows and lower the band on top of your head as if it's like a weightlifter's bar, and then straighten back up. And again, bend. And straighten. Now we're going to do a little combo. So we're going to shrug to start with. Shrug up, relax down, bend the elbows, straighten the elbows. Shrug up, relax down, and bend and straighten. One more time. Shrug up, relax down, and bend and straighten. Bring the arms all the way down. Let the band actually come onto your thighs. And then lightly roll the shoulders back and press the arms back behind you almost. Try and feel as if you're opening across your chest. You're just going to push back and forward. Keep the arms nice and straight, chest open, back and forward. One more time. And forward. Now this time take the arms out in front of you to shoulder height. We're going to do the same little combo. We're going to slide our shoulders forward, lightly draw them back. We're going to bend the arms, bend in, and reach out. One more time. Shrug forward, glide back, bend in, and out. Take a rest, keep your shoulders straight. Take a slightly wider grip, and we're going to take our legs a little bit wider as well. So I've got my feet quite wide, feet turned out slightly, and I'm going to take my arms all the way over my head and slightly pull on my strap and try and really lift up in my waistline. Now we're going to do a side bend, but think of going up first, taller first, side bend over, try to frame your head between your arms. Now try to lengthen taller and grow longer before you bring yourself back up. And again, lift up, side bend over, and then think of growing taller, reach longer at the waist, and then bring yourself back up. One more time, over, Lengthen, reach a bit taller to the top of your head. Bring yourself back up. One more time. Up. A bit taller, a little bit longer. And all the way back up. Bring the arms down, bring the feet in a little bit. Now this is going to be a strong stretch for our shoulders, so make sure you go with what's right for your body. If you take your arms up, and there should be no pain with the arms over the head, okay? If that feels okay, see if you can take your arms back a little further into a bit more of a stretch through the chest, and then come back to safer ground. You might want to take your arms a bit wider, even still on the band, and see if you can go a little bit further back behind you. And then everyone's going to be different, so don't force it, and just go to where you feel a bit of a stretch through the shoulders. If you're really confident and it feels good, you can go all the way over into a big shoulder stretch back, and then over. But change it up if it's not right. Take your arms a bit wider, or just go part way back. So we can just one more time, just really getting our shoulders to move all the way back, and then come all the way back over. Good. We're going to give our arms a shake. And we're going to use the strap now for legs and some resistance work on our legs. So we're going to tie our band around our thighs, and you want to tie it with about a fist gap between your knees. So I'm going to do it, I'm going to wrap around the front. If you have a longish band, you can go around twice. If your band is not that long, you might only want to go around once. And obviously it depends how hard you want to work. But we want to feel that we haven't got our legs completely together. Do a little knot, and you've kind of got a fist between the knees, okay, and a few inches up from your knee, okay. Now we'll step back slightly. Okay, now you can do this without the band as well, remember. So we're going to do a sort of hip hinge. So we're pretending we're sitting in a chair. So if I stick my bottom out, I'm going to imagine there's a chair behind me, and I'm sitting my bottom down in it, and then I'm going to come back up. Now, as you do that, you want to be slightly pushing out on your band so that your knees are going over your toes. The band is going to make our hips work a bit harder, our glute muscles work a bit more. Okay? Now, if you have a sore knee, maybe you just go halfway. If you don't have a sore knee, maybe you can go a little deeper. Okay, so you can change that up yourself. Now, the next one, we're going to add a little extra challenge. So we're going to go down into our chair, keeping your seated squat, and keep your feet flat and just push your knees out and knees in. Press the knees out, press the knees in. What you should feel is a lot of work on your bottom, your glutes. And in, one more time, and in, and then stand up. Okay, we're going to repeat that if you feel good, otherwise you can leave it out, obviously. It's quite powerful. So when you're ready, you're going to sit in your squat again. Okay, abdominals are lifted, my back's quite long, and I'm just going to press my legs out and in. Nothing moves except my thighs, well, my legs really. Go a little deeper if you want extra challenge. One more time, and then stand up. Okay. Good. Now we're going to keep the band in our little tied up position and lower it down towards the ankles. And then take your feet out wider. I'm going to come back so maybe you can actually see me as well. Okay, so take your feet parallel, look out in front of you, and there's tension on the strap. So it's your side hip you're going to feel. Okay. Now we're going to do a weird kind of side to side walk, pushing into the strap as you walk to the side. Okay, and you'll feel your side hip quite a lot. And then go the other way. Now, depends how tight your band is and how strong a band it is. This could feel really, really, really hard, or just slightly harder than normal. So be aware that you might have a stronger band, or you might have done it in a tighter bow. But you might be feeling that side hip. Good, take a little break. Now we're going to balance on one leg and do a few one-legged presses out and in. And again, if you have a strong band and it's quite tight, this movement is going to look quite small, okay? But it's quite powerful. So if we stand onto our left leg, you can hold the furniture if you feel balance is a bit wobbly. Lift up your right foot, stand tall and lift up the side, the supporting side. And we're going to try and do 4 little presses out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Place that foot down, Lift up the second leg. Lift up on that supporting side, and we're going to press out for 1, 2, 3, 4. Put that foot down. Now we're going to go behind us on the next one. So when you're ready, you're going to shift onto your left leg, and you're going to take your right leg a little bit behind you and slightly turned out. I'm going to come up closer for a close-up of this one. So you see my leg. So my leg is slightly behind me and it's slightly turned out. Now when I kick back, now it's my bottom really working. So my glute. Keep your back supported. It's not an arch in the back. It's a press from your bottom. And then put your foot down. Last side, so I'm on one leg. I'm going to take my left leg behind me. Keep it slightly rotated, turned out from the hip. And then when I kick back, it's those hip muscles. And then come down. Good. Now, let's take our band out. So you can do quite a short 10 minutes of this sort of work with the strap to get some really good, strong hip strength work in if you're short on time. Now we're going to take the band out and undo the knot. Hopefully not to take too long. And we're going to come to lying, no, sitting down actually. So let me just do that. Okay, so I'm going to remove my camera. Okay. So we're going to start with a seated rollback using the strap to help us. So if you bring your legs out in front of you, knees are going to be bent, and we've got my feet sticking up in the air. So my heels are just on the ground. And then I'm going to put the strap around my feet. And depending how strong your band is, you want to hold quite near your ankles or feet, so there's quite a good amount of tension on the band, okay? And then my feet are flexed, and I'm almost imagining I'm pushing my feet into the wall almost, so there's a bit of kind of resistance work. Now, I'm going to round my spine and think of especially curling my tailbone under, so it's especially my lower back I'm concerned with trying to round. Okay, now I'm going to lean back in that rounded shape, and my lower back is going to go towards the floor, and then I'm going to round back up. Now you can adjust your band. I think mine for that was a little too tight actually, so I'm going to let go a little bit. So you can adjust if you need. When we round back, think of rounding back as if you're going to put your lower back on the mat, and then breathe and round forward. Obviously everyone will go at a slightly different how far back you go might be different, but try and feel as if you're that intention of putting your lower back on the mat. And then breathe. You want to feel like the feet are pushing forward into a pretend wall as you pull back. And then down. Now we're going to go all the way to the ground and up if you feel ready for that progression. Otherwise, keep going with the halfy runs. So we're going to round back. You're going to curl your tail, and you're going to see if you can slowly roll down onto your back, keeping the knees bent. And then I'm going to curl up, look at my knees and feet. I'm going to breathe out and let the band help pull me up. Okay, we can do another couple like that, just using the band to assist the roll up. Keep the knees a little bit bent. It's a little easier with the knees bent. Allows the back to move a bit more easily. Now this last one, we're going to stay lying down. So actually, let's take the band out from our feet for our final one. Now you can walk down your legs if you know roll-ups are a challenge for you, or if you're confident, take your arms out, hold your band, and just try and do a nice calm roll down, as if you were still doing the previous version. And you're just going to roll down until you're on your back. And then we're going to bend our knees and just bring the feet flat, knees apart. Okay, now take the band out above the shoulders. Might be actually strong, but just a bit of a pull on your band. And we're just going to move the band over our head and up a few times, just like we did standing up. Try to keep the ribs heavy, so there's no arching in the mid-back when you move your arms. Keep the length in your back. One more time. Now we're going to keep our arms up to the ceiling, and we're going to do a pelvic curl. So think of deepening the tummy muscles, curl the pelvis, curl up through the spine, and imagine you're standing into your feet at the top, your knees are reaching forward. Now, as you roll down the spine, try to imagine you're growing taller out of the crown of your head, and you're rolling down through your back and dropping the tail. Let's keep practicing that basic one. Roll up, looking up at the ceiling, knees forward, and then roll down. Now we're going to add our arms and the band on the next one. So repeat just the same thing again. We're going to curl up, roll up, hips up. Now try to tweak the position, reach the knees forward, draw the abdominals in and try and reach the tail long to the back of the knees. Now keep our hips up and we're going to lower the band until it hits on our thighs. Roll your shoulders back and you're going to press your arms down and push your hips up. So you're getting a lot of work on your hips and the back of the arm. Now we're going to roll down the spine and let the arms float back over the head. Okay, now we're going to curl up again. And as you curl the tail, you're going to slowly bring the arms up and over. We're going to lightly roll the shoulders back, press the thighs up and the arms down. And then roll back down onto your back. Little stretch over the head. We're going to do the last time and we're going to add a couple of little pulses. So when you're ready, you're going to curl up. Press the arms down. Try and keep the wrists long and the elbows straight. You're going to roll the shoulders back and press your arms down and your hips up and go 4 little pulses. So you're going to relax a little bit and then push and lift. Relax a little bit. They should be strong on your hips, on your glutes, and on the back of the arm. One more time. And then we're just going to roll down. Let the spine relax down. Bring the arms up. Okay, let's take the band out for a few exercises because holding onto it can get a little bit sticky. Okay, so stay lying on your back and we're going to just interlace our hands and just do a couple of regular abdominal chest lifts. So when you're ready, nice and calm, you're going to breathe out and lift the chest up. And then lengthen the back down. Think of supporting your head in your hands, not pulling on your neck, almost carrying the head. And down. We're going to progress this one. So we're going to breathe out, curl up. Reach the arms long, grab the back of your legs. Now see if you can curl a little higher so that your shoulder blades are just slightly floating off the floor. Keep looking over your knees and breathing. Reach the arms long. Now we're going to do the 100 here. We're going to press the arms up and down. We're going to breathe in. And we're going to breathe out. If you feel fit and healthy, take the legs to tabletop. And out. Now remember, you can put your head back down if it's too strong, or you notice your neck is gripping. We shouldn't be noticing that if we're really engaging our tummy well. And if you're fit and healthy and you do a lot of Pilates, obviously the full version is straight legs. See if we can go a few more breaths. Calm, breathing in. And deep abdominals, breathing out. One more time, breathing in. And breathing out. Lovely. Hug your knees back into your chest. Take a little stretch here. Pull the knees in. Just have a little roll around. Maybe hug the knees around. Now take the legs out to tabletop and hold behind your knee. We're going to do a slow rock up to sitting. But firstly, push your thighs into your hands so you have a bit of tension. Your arms are straight and you're pushing away. Okay, and now I want you to just think of lifting your head up, and you've got heavy boots on your feet. And then you're going to lower your head and kind of curl up your bottom, and then lift your head, and then lift your tail. See if you can start a really small rock going on, like your little upside down tortoise, rocking on your shell. And then on the last one, you're going to hopefully come all the way up to sitting. And get ready for rolling like a ball, which is similar thing. So remember, if you find a roll up hard, I recommend holding it behind the knee for rolling like a ball because it'll help you with your lower back staying around it. Okay, if you're really happy doing roll ups, the full position is hands on the shins, tiny ball. Okay, choose your level. We're going to inhale back and exhale forward. Inhale back, exhale forward. A good variation is to try keeping the elbows on the knees. And then you'll know if you're losing your tummy on the way up, we want to keep the knees and elbows together. And keep the shape. Last one. And then rest the feet down. Okay, good. Now we're going to move on into the section of the class that's designed as a sort of abdominal training, strengthening section. And just before we do that, a couple of things to point out. When you first learn these exercises, you're just getting the bare bones of the exercise, and often people aren't getting all the details just yet. But what we want to watch when you get more experienced is that you're keeping your pelvis really still, okay? And when we're moving our legs around, the tendency is, especially if you're a beginner, is that you sort of want to tuck your bottom when you pull the knee into the chest. And then when the leg goes out, you sort of do a little mini arch in your back. So you end up with this kind of tucking, tipping action. And what we want to develop is the strength to hold a very stable pelvis and a very stable lower back. So when we're doing the movements of the legs, we're keeping our tail down, we're keeping our back still, we're moving our hips and legs against a very stable center, okay, so that we can strengthen that area, okay? So think about that as a little focus today. So we're going to round down onto our mats. You can use your arms or you can walk down your legs. Once you're down on your back, just take a moment lying down and then just feel what it feels like when you have your tail down and your pelvis is level, how that feels, where the weight rests underneath you. And then if you tuck your bottom and feel how the weight's now kind of more in your lower back and more at the top of your pelvis. And then if your tail is down, the weight's more in the center of the pelvis and it's level, okay? Do that a couple of times just to get your brain feeling what the difference between being a little tucked under and being a little bit more level. And then try and finish with your level pelvis and try and feel your tummy muscles just hugging you in that supported level. Okay, we want to try and keep that throughout. So when you're ready, we're going to go for our single leg stretch to start with. So bring the knees up one at a time, keeping the tail down. Curl the chest up. 2 hands on one shin, one leg out. Now, here, is your tail down? Is the weight the same under the center back of your pelvis? Could you roll your shoulders back, elbows out wide? Lift the chest up, shoulders hovering. We're going to switch legs, stable pelvis. Switch. Switch, don't go too quick. Can you keep your pelvis and lower back absolutely still as you swap legs? Could you lift a little taller in your spine? Keep breathing. Let's go one more each side. Hug the knees in, rest the head. Now we're going to put our hands behind our head for the double leg stretch today so that we can focus on that stabling action. So hands interlaced, breathe out, curl the chest up, look over your knees. Now can you feel your tails down? So you're not tucked, your bottom is down. Press the heels together and pull the knees into your chest only as far as you keep your bottom down, your tailbone down. Okay, now when you straighten your legs, there's no change in the lower back. And then when you bend in, you keep the same position. So your legs are moving, but your back is not moving. If you feel your back is arching, take the legs much higher. And that would be more of a beginner move, or if you find it challenging, move. And then as you get stronger, your legs can go lower, as long as you're able to look after your back and keep that positioning. Good. Rest your head down for a little break. Okay, now we're going to do the lower lifts one, which is another challenge where we have 2 straight legs. We're going to lower a bit and lift a bit. Okay, so hands we're going to place behind our head one more time. We're going to lift our chest up again. Tail is down. Now reach your legs up towards the ceiling. If you have slightly tight hamstrings, you might have your knees bent, but you can still press your heels together and make a diamond shape. If you have stretchy hips, straighten your legs and press your heels together. Now, draw the tummy in and keep your tailbone down. Lift your shoulders off the floor and look up at your feet. This should already be quite strong on your tummy. Now you're going to lower your legs a few inches away and then breathe out, pull the belly in deep and bring your legs back up. Go away, do not let your lower back arch, and then breathe out, pull the belly in deep. One more time, legs go away, and then legs come up. We're going to bend our knees and go into crisscross, opposite shoulder to knee. Twist, breathe out, twist, and twist. Again, the pelvis is stable, everything else is moving. Try to notice that. If you can keep it stable, you'll work a lot harder. One more time each side. And then bring the knees in and just rest and have a break. Good. And then just, again, pull the knees into the chest, have a little rest. And then let's stretch ourselves out nice and long. So reach the arms and legs out. And just take a lovely big breath in and stretch out. Okay. Now, if you're practicing the roll up in your Pilates world, you're going to practice the roll up. Otherwise, you're going to hug your knees into the chest and you're going to rock up. Okay. And we're going to do a couple of seated exercises using the band. And these exercises, we want to really be able to sit up. So make sure that if you need to sit on a little block, little pillow, and you can of course bend your knees. So my legs are together for these first few. And I'm going to put the strap around both feet. And then I'm going to hold kind of halfway up my shin. Now sit up with a really straight back. And if you need to bend your knees, bend your knees. And just try and roll your shoulders back. And just firstly, are you able to really sit up in your lower back? So if you can see yourself, or if you can feel with your hand, we're not in a little slouch, we're not tucked under, we're really on our sitting bones and we're trying to lift up in our lower back, okay? Now, try and just grow a little taller in your spine. Lightly roll back your shoulders, and we're going to pull with our 2 elbows back, and then forward. Care less about your arms and more about, can you stay sitting up tall? Are you strong enough to sit up in this position? Can you open the chest more? One more time. Now we're going to do exactly the same move with one arm and add a little twist. So I'm just going to pull my right arm. I'm going to turn to the right and look over my right shoulder and pull on my strap. And then return. Left side, pull, turn and look behind you. And return. So keep going. Try to keep the legs absolutely still. So the legs and feet are not moving. You're just twisting from the navel up. One more each side. And back. Now, just take the hands, prick the hands out a bit, so you're letting go a bit of the tension on the strap. And I'm going to lift my elbows up a little bit. I'm going to do sideways on. So my shoulders are relaxed and back, my neck is long, but my elbows are slightly lifted. Okay, now I'm going to think of trying to pull my shoulder blades a little bit back and then lift my elbows up and back. So if you can hold that, and what you should be feeling is a lot of work in your upper back. And then bring the arms down. Okay, so we're pulling elbows up and back, shoulders onto the back, lifting the back of the neck. And then we're going to do it 2 more times. It should be quite strong work on your upper back muscles. Really good posture exercise. And one more time. And then relax. Okay, good. So we're going to take the band out from our feet for a moment and put that out of the way. And we're going to lie down on our tummy. And we're going to do the dart today. Now, just before we do it, if you just watch me do a little demonstration of what often happens in this exercise. So when we lift our arms behind us, I'm going to do it with my good arm actually, the shoulder really wants to roll forward. So if I show you that, I'm here and my arm's long. If I lift my arm too high, my shoulder's going to want to roll forward. So you can see this bone wants to roll like that, okay? Then I close my chest and I'm not able to really work my upper back if I'm like that. So what I want to think of doing is roll the shoulder back. So this is more open. And then when I lift my arm, it's not going to go as high, but there, now my chest is open, my upper back's working here instead of being there, okay? So it's less high and more shoulders back and collarbones wide, okay? So if everyone comes to lying on their tummy, you want to have your nose just floating and the back of the hand is going to just rest on the ground, okay? Now I'm going to think of an ice cube under my low tummy and my pelvis level on the ground. So there's no excessive arch in my lower back, and I feel my tummy muscles are lightly lifted. Grow tall. Imagine your neck is really long, as if you're a little tortoise and you're reaching your head out of your shell with a super long neck. Now, keep the back of the hand on the mat and just let the shoulders roll up towards your ears and roll your shoulders onto your back. And try and feel the shoulder blades are broad and wide on your back, not excessively squeezed together. And then let the shoulder blades relax. We're going to do that again. You're going to roll the shoulders up, roll them onto your back. Try and feel the collarbones are wide, the chest is open, the shoulder blades are wide and broad on your back. And then relax. One more time. Neck is long, shoulders are going to roll up, roll onto your back. Now try and really feel that open chest. So my arm bones are open, my upper arm is open. Now I'm going to lift my hands up, not very high, turn my palms to face in, and keep working on my shoulders back and my chest open. Shoot your head even taller. If you can, bring your arms a little closer to the side of your body and try and reach your fingers towards your feet. Now keep opening the chest and reaching the shoulders back. We're going to lift our arms up a tiny bit higher and then lift the chest up and look a little forward. And then down. Now this doesn't have to be very big to be very powerful. This is called the dart, this exercise. You're like a really long dart shooting through the air. One more time. Roll back, lift up. See if you can stay here and just press the arms up and down. Keep trying to open the chest and reach the arms along. And then we're going to rest, and we're going to bring our hands under our forehead, and we're just going to rest our head down. Take a few deep breaths. There's quite a lot of strong work there on the upper back. Okay. Now we're going to stretch our hips. So as long as you have healthy knees, you're going to take your right hand back, bend your right foot, and see if you're able to grab your foot or your ankle. You can use a strap for this stretch if you have a knee restriction. Okay. Now, gently draw the heel towards your bottom, but keep your groin pressing down. So there's no bum in the air. It's not this. It's down and heel. Now, if you can, keep the thighs parallel. Okay, the knee that you're stretching, the thigh you're stretching wants to swing out to the side usually. Try to avoid that if you can. Hold it for a few more breaths. There should be no pain in the knee joint. It should just feel like a big stretch in the muscles that across the front of the leg that do cross the knee. Now we're going to switch, and you're going to take the other one. And remember, you can use a strap for this stretch if the joint is stiff. Now think of the groin pressing down. You're drawing your heel towards your bottom. Breathe. If you're a very stretchy, bendy person, you might be able to lift your thigh up off the ground a bit and keep the groin down. And then release the foot. Now we're going to do the single leg kick exercise. And this is a hamstring strengthener. So you're not just wagging your legs around like a teenage girl on the bed. You're trying to really feel your hamstrings engage. Okay, so if you reach your legs out, now you can keep them on the ground, is a slightly easier version. If you're able to slightly hover them, that will just make it slightly more intense. Now, you're going to slowly bend one heel and think of bringing your heel towards your bottom. Do a little double kick. And then the other one, pull the heel to the bottom. Now imagine you're pulling a strap with your foot, and you want to be feeling activation in the back of the leg. And then if you feel good, try and go a little quicker. So you're going to go kick, kick, switch, kick, kick, keeping the pelvis stable. You're opening the front of your hip and working the strength of the back of the hip. Last couple of times. Pelvis is down, no gaps under the groin. And then relax. Okay, now we're going to sit back in a rest position. So you can take your hands and sit yourself back on your feet. Again, if you have a knee problem, you can put a pillow there. Otherwise, if you're healthy, you're aiming, if you're healthy, to put your bottom back on your ankles. Reach your arms out and just take a couple of deep breaths. And just kind of open your back up to the ceiling. You can come up a bit and curl the tail a bit if that feels good on your back. And then we're going to come up onto our hands and knees and do a little front support, or plank. It's in the fitness world. In Pilates world, we call this front support. So you're going to come up onto your hands and knees, okay? And then try and get your nice spine alignment with your tummy muscles lifted. We're going to step out into a plank and just hold yourself here for a while. Keep breathing, keep lifting up the abdominals. And then come down. We're going to keep repeating it. Just holding for a few breaths. And then coming down. Now, if you're feeling confident with this, you can stay in plank for this last repetition and just lift and lower one leg, 4 little kicks up with one leg. And then place that foot down. And then we're going to do 4 little kicks up with the other leg. And then we're going to put that foot down and we're going to come down onto our knees. We're going to give our wrists a little shake out. Okay, good. Now we're going to do a second set of hip strengthening exercises using our band. So this is optional again. So if you're feeling good and you want to work on strength, we're going to tie the band around our legs again, like we did earlier. Or if you have a mini loop, it would be just like using a mini loop essentially. And if you want to not work quite so hard, then feel free to just not use the band. I'm just going to mute everyone. Okay, so you can strap yourself up around your legs once or twice, depends how hard you want to make it. And you want to have a bit of a gap between your knees. So not totally together, about a fist between your knees again. Okay, now, once you've got your strap on, we're going to wiggle ourselves onto our side. And we're going to lie down and do the simple clam, but with the strap there. So if you lie yourself down. So if your shoulder's okay, you're going to lie with your head on your arm. Your arm is in a straight line with your torso. Your knees are forward and your heels are together. Now, the strap is a few inches up from my knees rather than right near my hip. Okay. Now, if you put your hand on your pelvis and just relax like you're hanging out on the beach, and that's what we want to try to avoid in this exercise, being too kind of slouched. So if you push your top hip out and try and feel that when you do that, if I lift up my t-shirt, you can see you've got your little mouse hole. Okay, so your side body is a bit more engaged. Okay, now we're trying to keep that through the whole sequence. And when you're ready, you're going to open your knee into the band and close it back. So you're doing these simple exercises with the strap to give you some resistance. Now with your hand on your pelvis, you want to watch that you're not rocking backwards with every time you open your knee. That's a really common mistake, and then you won't feel your hips working. So it's really keep this bone, grab it in your fingers and keep it really still. Now keep the knee open, press your heels together like you're gripping a £2 coin in your heels. I'm going to do 8 little pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then rest down. Okay, now we're going to lift the whole leg up, knee and foot, and you've got to put your strap tension again, and you're going to press it up and down. Keep the mouse hole. Underside is not collapsed. Leg might not go so high. This is very strong if you're keeping your center still. Now hold it up and do 8 pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then give yourself a rest. Okay, now we've got one last one to go where we're going to do a circle, and we're trying to do a big circle of the hip, pushing against the tension. Okay, so when you're ready, just going to do 4 times one direction. So lift your leg up, push against the strap tension, find your mouse hole. Now try and bring the thigh forward as far as you can without tucking your bottom. Push into the strap and do a really big circle back. Try and get your leg to go behind you and forward. come forward, up in there. Now try and get that leg to go a little bit back, because when you go back, that's when your glutes work. That's it. Most of us are a little weak in the back of our hips. And then come forward one more time, push into the strap, keep pushing, keep tension on it. Try and go behind you. And then come in and take a rest. Okay, now we're going to do the nice book openings before we do the second side. So for this one, if you bend your elbow, rest your head so you've got a little pillow. Take the other arm out in front of you. Then you're going to reach forward, then take the arm up in the air and go into a nice simple twist. And then bring yourself back around. And again, reach forward, lift the arm up, rotate around. Now keep the top knee reaching forward of your legs so that we don't let the legs move. The legs stay still when we twist the upper body. And then you'll feel much better stretching your back. So you almost want to feel like that top knee is going a little bit forwards towards the camera as you twist back. And then bring yourself around. Okay, now stay with your legs all strapped together and just come up onto your elbow for a quick side plank. So I'm going to keep my legs together. I'm just going to do it on my knees today. Lift up the underside, come up, hand on the hip. Okay, now you can do straight legs if you want. I'm doing bent, you can do straight if you want. Now, if you feel confident, keep lifting yourself up. This should not bother your shoulder. Shoulder injured people don't do it on your injured side. We're going to lower down the hips and lift up the hips. 4 little times. Working your side body strength. Hold it there. And then come down. Now, as long as you're okay with your legs strapped together, come up into a little mermaid counter stretch. Hand on the shin, arm up, side bend. Breathe. Try and breathe. Get this rib to expand a little bit. And if you lean a little forward, sometimes that gets a nicer spot in the back. Good. Now we're going to do side 2. So we're going to take our feet, stay strapped up. It's good practice, but if you're ever taken hostage, you know how to work with tied up body. Okay, now we're going to lie on our side. So our head is on our bottom arm. The strap is a few inches up from your knees. Your knees are in front of your body and your heels are together. Hips are back. I'm going to put my hand on my top hip. I'm going to reach away a little bit so that I get that slightly lifted up underside engagement. And when we're ready, we're going to do 8 simple clamps. Open and close. Now, depending how tight you did your strap, you might be regretting that or not. But obviously, if you did it tight or you double looped it, this is really tough. Now, hold open, keep your stable pelvis and do 8 little presses up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Rest on down. Now lift the whole leg, knee and foot, and then try and maintain your mouse hole so your pelvis is square, and then you're pressing up and out with the leg. So then it's more side hip focused, but we're not wiggling around in our center. It's just the hip, the leg. Good. Hold it up there. 8 pulses. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and then take a rest down. Okay, good. Have a little break. The last one we've got is our 4 big circles, and we're trying to get big range in our hip and a big strength work. Okay, so last one, we're going to press up against the tension, pull your knee forward. Now keep pushing into the strap. Try and get your knee to go a little bit behind you, and then all the way forward. Push up. All the way around, keep pushing into the strap. And we've got 2 more. And remember, the resistance training, muscle strength training is really one of the most important things you can do for your health. It really makes a huge difference. Let's go 1 extra time with that in mind. As we get older, we lose our muscle unless we work really hard to maintain it. Okay, relax that leg. Now we're going to do the book opening. So bend the underneath arm so you have a little head support, or you can put a towel there if you have a towel handy. Take the arm out. We're going to do 3 times. We're going to reach a little forward, rotate around, get a little stretch, and come back. And again, a little reach forward, open up, opening the chest, and come back. If you want to go a little deeper into your twist, think of the top knee reaching slightly forward as you twist back. So you're really keeping a stable pelvis and your spine will be able to get a little more rotation and come back. Okay, we're going to come onto our forearm, and you can do this on your straight legs if you want to. I'm going to do it on my knees. Lift up. Remember, no pressure on this shoulder. It should feel fine. So avoid this exercise if you have shoulder injury. Bring yourself up. Keep lifting away from the floor. Hold yourself here. Now we're going to do just a little bit down and then push away from the floor. Think of pushing your forearm down and lifting your hips and ribs up away from the ground. One more time. Hold, hold, hold. And then bring your hips down. Bring yourself up, heels together, hands on the shin. Take your arm up, sit up as tall as you can. And then side bend over. And take a little stretch. Breathe, maybe lean a little bit. Now we're going to do one last exercise for our hips with the band, and that's going to be lying on our back doing a version of a pelvic curl. So wiggle yourself around so your feet, and we're going to have our feet together for this one. So instead of hip distance apart, you can roll that down, or you can use your arms. Just take yourself down onto your back again. Okay, and lie down and just have a little moment lying down. Okay. Now, if your feet are together, instead of being hip distance apart, they're slightly together, your tailbone is down. Okay, now you can do the clam exercise with 2 legs here. So if you press both knees out and then come back in, and as if you're doing a double clam. Your tail is down and you're just using those hips again. One more time. Now we're going to do this at the top of our pelvic curl. So keep the feet together. You might not come as high with your feet together though. So we're going to tilt our pelvis and you're going to roll up until your pelvis is hovering, your hips are lifted and your feet are pressing down. Now hold yourself here. Think of pressing the bottom of the feet into the floor and always trying to pull your heels back underneath you, like you're dragging your heels towards your bottom. Okay, that should really help you feel the back of the hip, these glutes and hamstrings. Now keep that heels pulling back action and just open and close your knees 4 times, but keep trying to pull your feet underneath you. So the feet aren't moving, but I'm pulling back, getting my muscles to activate more with a sort of pull back action. Last one. And then I'm going to roll myself down. Take a break, and we're going to do 1 more set of those, and then I promise we're finished with the hips. So when you're ready, we're going to already think of pressing the feet down, pulling the heels back, curl the tail, roll up. Now if you can keep the abdominals in, pubic bone up, navel in, so you've got that pelvic alignment, press the heels down and pull the heels back, and then do 4 pushes out and in. You should feel you're getting a lot of work on the hips. So 2 more, push and close, last one. And then roll down. Good, now we're very carefully going to unstrap our feet. So if you bring your knees in and if you can undo your bow, you might need to sit up if you did a tight knot. Just take your feet out of the band. Now we're going to finish with some stretches for our hips. So I'll wait a couple of minutes just for people to unhook the strap. Okay, now stay lying on your back and remember what it feels like to have your tailbone down, so you're not tucked, your bottom is down. And then when we stretch our hamstrings, we really want to keep that level pelvis, okay? So if we hook the strap into our right foot and try and have the strap a little bit over your toes. Start with the leg a little bit lower and feel that your tail is down, so you're not tucking, your back is supported by the mat. Now take the leg up to your own level for your body, where you can keep your pelvis down, your bottom down, but you're getting a stretch in your hamstring. Now if you point and flex the foot a few times, and think of reaching your tail or your sit bones down, you should feel that increases the stretch. Now we're going to go into the single leg circle. You can keep your left leg bent how it is, or if you feel happy, your hips feel pretty good and mobile, you can straighten that leg out. Okay. Now I'm going to think of pulling my foot towards my opposite shoulder, across the body, circle down, round and up. Across, down, round and up. Now the band is a way of supporting this exercise. So your leg has got something to push into. Try to keep the pelvis and spine still for maximum stretch and strength. Once you've done about 4, go the other way. And really enjoy these stretches because we've worked our hips quite hard. Now we're going to take a moment to switch sides. So take the other foot in the band, other leg down, and then again, square off your pelvis, tail is down, pelvis is square and level. And then I'm taking my leg to the same degree where I'm getting my stretch. I'm going to point and flex a few times here. Keeping myself square. Now, I can keep my right leg bent, or you can straighten it out for the circles. We're going to go across the body, over, round, and up. We're going to do 4 enjoyable, nice stretches, leg circle stretches. And when you've done about 4, approximately, go the other way. Try and go a little bit across each time. And when you've done about 4 each way, we're going to take the band out. We're going to do the figure of 4 hip stretch. So both knees are bent for this one. You're going to cross one ankle over. Now you can either just push out with your leg, or you can reach up and grab through for this one. Hold that for a couple of moments. And then we're going to swap. And we're going to, you can either do this one or this one, slightly harder. And then we're going to bring our feet around. We can come up sitting, do the little heavy boots, lifting up. Imagine you've got heavy boots on. Press the legs forward, lift the head. Those heavy boots are going to rock you up to sitting up. Okay. Good. Now we're just going to do a push-up exercise and then roll up to standing. So you can do this against the wall, remember, or you can do it on your knees in a box position or in a 3/4 position. Little last bit of upper body strength. So wherever you are, try and keep your back stable throughout. So we're watching that we don't sag in the middle of the back, especially if you're doing the full version of this. Okay, I'm just going to do my box position, but you can do whichever one is right for you today. So we're going to just try to do about 6 good ones, where you're going to go down and then push the floor away. And up. Try not to let your head or spine move. Just think they're stable, arms are moving. Good. When you've done your set of push-ups, give your wrists a little shake. We're going to finish with our up stretch walk to our feet, little stretchy ending. And if you're not on your shoulders today, or this isn't right for you, just meet us standing up. Otherwise, come out onto your all fours again. Okay, find that nice lifted up tummy. We're going to step out. Just hold your body weight here for a few more breaths. So you're just getting a bit more strength work in. Then you're going to lift your hips up, bring your feet in a little bit, And then we're going to just bend one knee at a time, just giving ourselves that little bit more stretching. Reach the heels to the floor. And then we're going to walk our hands and feet towards each other. And if you need to bend your knees, bend them as much as you might need. Have a little stretch over. Remind yourself to relax the head, let your head relax and dangle, little shake. You're going to hold your elbows, let your arms relax. As we come up to standing, you can keep the knees a little bent, curl the tail under, lift the abdominals, and then kind of slowly unfold yourself and stand up. And then we're going to finish with one standing roll down. So wherever you are, just stand up, shoulders back, nice and standing, nice and tall, and then just allow your head to nod, let your upper back round, arms hanging, head relaxed, round over. So you're just trying to get your spine into that full flexion, it's called, where the spine is fully rounded forward. Knees a little bent will help that. As you come up, lift the abdominals and think of keeping the pelvis forward over the feet. Curl the tail to your heels and unfold your spine. And just come up to standing tall. Good. Now find a space in your room that you can finish with a little balance. We're going to cross our hands one over the other. Stand up tall as if you've got a pile of library books on your head. And just lift up one leg and just stand on one leg. Keep trying to lift up tall. Keep your gaze focused if you find it challenging. Place that foot down and lift up the other foot. Try and balance. And then place that foot down and then just finish with a couple of arm circles. So all you can do is lift your arms up, relax your arms down. Just a nice and simple. Last one. And all the way down. Good. Well done. You can go and enjoy your day. I'm just going to pause this.